NBC Connecticut's Kids Connection is proudly brought to you by ACES, transforming lives through education.
So we're here at Roaring Brook Nature Center in Canton, Connecticut. We are a nature center that's filled with immersive exhibits. We have miles of trails, and we also have a wildlife rehabilitation clinic on site. Families can come and explore, get their hands dirty, learn about local flora and fauna, those plants and animals that we have here, and also some of the issues that are facing the state and our local ecosystems.
My mission is for any wildlife being admitted, the goal is always to release them back to their native habitat. Obviously, that's not always the case. We're dealing with a lot of not only orphaned wildlife, but a lot of injured wildlife. We want to give them the best treatment plan, and we would love to get them back into the wild, which we're able to do a lot of the times. If that's not the case, we look at ambassadorship, which is a lot of how these guys come in here, and then the birds of prey outside. They are dealing with issues or injuries that make them non-releasable back into the wild.
So we're trying to connect people of all ages to nature. So we can do that through our visits here in the exhibits, through our field trip programs and outreach programs across the state, as well as family programming and hikes we do.
Coming in here and being able to look at the variety of species of animals we have, or just the variety of animals in general, I think is a great learning experience. But a common issue that we have, especially lizards and reptiles, are that people tend to think they are a good starter pet for a lot of younger kids. There is still a lot of work that goes into taking care of amphibians and reptiles that people may underestimate. When they eventually get these animals, they realize, oh, there are a ton of responsibilities that come with it. So a lot of these guys come in because as a pet, they bit off a little bit more than they can chew. For people to be able to come in and kind of get an example or get an idea of what really goes into taking care of these animals, that might help people learn that it is a commitment. It is not a replacement for getting a dog or a cat. It is its own species with its own responsibilities. It's okay if you realize you bit off more than you can chew. Just use it as a learning experience, but the last thing you should do is try to just dump that animal. It's not fair to the native animals. It's not fair to that animal.
So we get lots of calls every day throughout the state with injured or orphaned wildlife.
It's like 80 to 90% of wildlife calls that we get are due to human intervention in some way, shape, or form. The way we can give back, or the way I view it as humans to give back, is if you do find injured wildlife, call a local rehab center. But what to do if you find injured or orphaned wildlife is don't try feeding them. I know it kind of goes against instincts, but no food, no water. Keep them in a warm or cool, quiet spot, depending on the time of year. A lot of hands off, even though some of the babies are really, really cute and it's hard to be hands off with them. They are not adapted to humans. They see us as predators. Even if they act like they're calm, they're really just getting stressed out. And then just reach out to local rehab centers who are equipped to deal with that. And that's the best thing you can do for them. I know you may want to do more, but it's easier to just get them to a rehab center than risk causing more damage to the animal.
One of the really cool things about visiting the Nature Center is our birds of prey. So you get to actually visit with some of those owls and hawks, kind of get to know that animal on a much different level, and hopefully inspire you to do more research or kind of protect those animals.
We are outside the immediate building in our wildlife area. The Nature Center has kept animals here for many years, over 50 years. We improved and expanded this facility so that we could keep birds and other animals in better conditions. Well, all of the animals that are here because for a variety of reasons. Either they were injured by cars, flew into windows, or for whatever reason were unable to be returned to the wild. And so they are ambassador animals that we use with our educational programs. Oh, the kids get very excited about it, especially if she's right up front here. You know, she really has no fear of people, so. see if I can get them to sing for us. Oh, 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 oh. You're looking at me. Are you going to sing back? Because a lot of people have never seen a live owl. They don't really recognize the importance these animals play in our environment in terms of as rodent control. By bringing them in here to get them a close-up look at these birds, they may lose any preconceived notions or fears they may have had over birds that come out at night and make funny noises. This is Thomasina, and Thomasina is our oldest bird. When these birds come in as adults, we don't know how old they are because you can't age them from the time they're young. And you see turkey vultures with their naked red heads, similar to the head of a wild turkey. That's where they get their name. And most of the turkey vultures fly south for the winter, although a few do stay in Connecticut during the winter months. They're much more commonly seen during the warmer months of the year. And then our other vulture that we have is Connor. Connor is a black vulture. Connor comes from Atlanta, Georgia, where some people found Connor as a baby, and unfortunately they did something they never should have done. They took him home and kept him in their home. So he grew up not knowing that he was a bird or a black vulture, and that's illegal. He was confiscated and he's come up here. There's nothing wrong with him. He can fly, but he also doesn't know how to be a wild bird. If we were to release him, he wouldn't know what to do. Since December of 2024, we've released 3 barred owls, a Cooper's hawk, and a saw-whet owl that were hit by cars, and we were able to release them back into the wild. It's very rewarding. But as far as the birds that cannot be released into the wild, the ones that are here, for example, they're an important visual aid that we do that can provide living opportunities for people to see these animals up close and personal and find out a little more about them.
When kids get really excited and it clicks, it's very exciting as an educator as well, to be able to kind of provide that and hopefully inspire them to kind of take those next steps and kind of help with sparking that interest. You feel that connection, so being able to kind of put a name to a plant or an animal and really get to know that, you might hopefully are sparked to be able to care for that and protect it.